What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Happy Friday to you. Happy Good Friday, actually, for those of you that celebrate. If this is the first time on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. If this is not your first time on the channel, but you keep watching, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Also, if you get anything out of this video, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up. Let us get right into it. So I wanted to talk about the market. Obviously, I'll give you a market update today and tell you what Bitcoin and the crypto market is doing. We're going to leave the stock market out of it because today is Good Friday and the stock market is closed. But crypto, gosh darn it, never sleeps. And then I wanted to give you some tips on how to find entries and exits for your coins, for your trades, right? When to know, when to sell, when to get back in. And we'll use BNB as the example here because this is one of the most successful coins in the crypto space, but also one of our biggest gainers in our portfolio and one that we continue to swing trade. So, you know, you could just buy and hold something like BNB, or you could make the most of it if you're comfortable exiting and entering trades, and you could make money off of these swings that you see here. So I will go over that. If you want access to the trade alerts, link is in the description. The diamond traders and above also get the stock trade alerts, and you are automatically entered for the 0.03 Bitcoin drawing that I do on the first of every month. Crypto market cap is at around 180 bill. Not much has changed since yesterday. BNB, the top gainer here. Most coins actually have seen, most coins have actually seen a retracement at the moment, but BNB continues to kill it. Raven coin making another guest appearance here. And really, those are the only two in the top 50 today that have seen major gains. Again, it is Good Friday, and although the stock market is closed, the crypto market might be taking a little bit of a break as well, even though it's not officially closed. It can't close. All right, Bitcoin, looking at Bitcoin, same as yesterday. I mean, obviously not much has changed over the course of a day. It's still within the pattern that you see here. You have this Adam and Eve pattern, and there is a clear resistance point that it is trying to get over at the moment. There is a potential cross between the 50 and the 200, and I think we will eventually get there because if you look at the total market cap, this is the chart for the total market cap. The 50 and the 200 are already touching, and Bitcoin comprises 52% of this chart. So yeah, I think BTC will eventually get there, the cross between the 50 and the 200. However, that is not the end all be all, right? So there were times, plenty of times actually, when the 50 crossed the 200 where it was very short-lived and the price actually declined. So people who are novices to the markets, especially the crypto markets, tend to think of these golden crosses as some sort of, you know, inflection point where the market will automatically spike from there. But you'll see here, for instance, back in July 2015, the 50 crossed the 200 and we fell from $280 all the way to almost $200. And, you know, obviously we eventually saw a gradual rally from there, but just because this event occurred does not mean that we will automatically see a price jump. So for instance, you could very well see a cross between the 50 and the 200, and you could start to see Bitcoin, you know, go back and retest the 200 moving average or even below that. I mean, it's so just, I just want you guys not to get the false expectation that, you know, because the 50 and the 200 cross, that you're going to see an automatic price jump from there. Again, in summary, for me, you know, Bitcoin has, there's two key levels that I'm looking at. 5,500 is the key level at the resistance side of things, and 4,600, which is this 200-day MA, is the key level on the support side of things. So in the bullish or bearish scenario, those two levels in the respective scenarios have to be breached in order for there to be any significant movement in either direction. But as I stated yesterday, if you start looking at the longer term side of things, things do look more bullish. You have the Adam and Eve pattern here, which is usually a reversal pattern coming from a downtrend. So we do need to breach this 50-week MA here, which is around the same level as the 5,500 resistance range. And then if you look at the 1 month, we've never had three green candles in a row without seeing a rally thereafter. So that is Bitcoin scenario for now. And by the way, Bitcoin up almost 30% this month. This is something that people don't usually reference, but if you look at the monthly candle, it will show you how much it's up this month. So 30% for Bitcoin in a month. I mean, that's not bad. In the stock market, that would usually be considered us, you know, getting out of bear territory, but because we've fallen from such high heights of $20,000, we have a long way to go before considering this a reversal. All right, so let's look at BNB. BNB has been our workhorse, gaining us over 200% since we started scaling in November. And then we sold at this retracement level here and bought back at when it started bouncing off support. So let us use this as an example. How do you know when to exit and enter trades and re-enter trades, right, for profit? Well, here's the thing. So as BNB was climbing, it hasn't retraced really more than 10% along its way to this 200+% gain. But there is a practice called a trailing stop, right? You can either set this automatically using something like 3 commas. Also, some exchanges have it. Binance doesn't have it yet. But you can use something like a trailing stop, whether automatically or whether you manually move it up. But all that means is that your stop limit follows the price as it climbs. And that way you're protecting your profit along the way. So for me, depending on how much I'm up, that will determine the percentage of my stop limit. So if I'm up 200% on BNB and I'm willing to hold it long term, I might set a very liberal stop limit of 20%, something that I normally wouldn't do, right? But you're up over 200%, so you can afford it. If you're up, 15%, you might set a trailing stop limit of 5% or less. So this way, you're not manually deciding whether to sell or not. You're letting the market do the deciding for you. You're letting the market decide. So being that we haven't retraced more than 10% along the way, I set a tight stop limit of minus 20%, right? A trailing stop limit of minus 20%. And once BNB hit this price level here in the beginning of April, it started, needed a cooling off period, and it retraced all the way down to around 23%. Naturally, my stop limit hit for profit. Coming from overbought levels on the RSI, on the stochastic, and on the MACD. The MACD was heavily inflated. Obviously BNB needed to cool off. Again, over 200% in a 5 to 6 month period. Also, you see there is bearish divergence here, right? So the RSI makes a lower high. The price makes a higher high. This is called bearish divergence. And then you see that divergence also on some of the other oscillators like the stochastic, right? Making a lower high while the price is making a higher high. Also, same as the MACD. So even if you didn't have a trailing stop, as it starts to decline, you would be alerted based on this divergence. Now, this isn't a video on how to spot divergences. That's something that you're going to have to look up on your own. If you do need help with technical analysis or you need one-on-one training, that same link is also in the description. You get one-on-one video sessions with me. All right, so BNB starts declining, your stop limit hits, you take profit. Now, your next question should be, especially after this amazing run and the fact that BNB is a top 10 coin with a bright future in at least in the cryptocurrency space, right? It's the biggest exchange, it's the most well-known exchange. There are a lot of features that they are releasing or have released. So it is definitely one that you want to eye a re-entry or you want to try and spot a re-entry. How do you know when to get back in? Well, this is where good old support and resistance comes in, right? So in trading, I know it looks complicated, especially if you're looking at other people's charts and you start getting intimidated by, people drawing triangles all over the place, people trying to explain Elliott wave theory. This is wave 3. No, this is wave 5. It's really not that difficult. All that stuff is icing on the cake, right? Nothing takes place of the fundamentals in trading. You have basic pattern drawing, you have support and resistance. And support and resistance, you have multiple ways of trying to find support and resistance. So how do you know when BNB is finding support? Well, first thing, you have the moving averages, right? So this orange line here is the 50-day moving average. So as BNB is declining, I want to see how it reacts to these moving average levels. So can it use these moving averages as support? If so, which moving average will it use? As you see here, it breached the 50 just a little bit, but then it started establishing a support right beneath it, right? So the next thing you want to look for is multiple retests of a made up support level. So you see that it bounced 1, 2, 3, 4 times off of the same support level, and it was trying to breach the 50-day once again. Another way is using the fib retracements, right? So this right here is a fib retracement. Again, I'm not going to explain how to use a fib retracement. That's for another video, or you can find videos online that explain that. But how to use a fib retracement, you're looking for a level using the Fibonacci ratios, which are known to be found in nature, right? Not just in trading. You're wanting to use the Fibonacci ratios as a way to spot where the retrace is going to end. So 0.236 is the first one below zero, blows past that, and then we get to 0.382. Now it starts wicking at 0.382, and it does that multiple times. So along with this naturally created support level that you see here below the 50-day, you start bouncing off of the 0.382. Next, you want to look at your momentum indicators. You look at your momentum indicators and you see that the MACD now is curling upwards once again, right? It's flirting with crossing over. The stochastic is oversold. The RSI is not oversold, but it doesn't need to be for the stock or the coin to move up. It just needs to, especially coming from majorly overbought levels, needs to cool off for a bit. And, you know, being range bound, even falling below the 40 level on the RSI could be enough of a cooling off period, especially taking these other things that we were talking about. Next, you want to look at volume. You want to look at volume because you want to see if the masses are selling off BNB. And if they are, then you can expect a heavier retrace potentially. If they're not, then you can expect this level that it's bouncing off of to maintain. And so your chances of buying back here and of this level being an optimal re-entry point are a lot higher, right? So we look at the volume. Now you could look at the volume here and try to guesstimate whether, you know, based on previous volume, whether you see a lot of sell-offs or not. But I like to use an indicator like the on balance volume. You can use something like the money flow. You can use the VFI. There are a bunch of indicators that try to relate price and volume and also try to predict money flow, whether money is flowing positively or negatively. Well, the on balance volume is a cumulative running count of volume. It's sometimes referred to colloquially as continuous volume. And if this drops, that means that interest is potentially waning on BNB, right? People are selling off. You're seeing negative volume coming in. However, this volume, even throughout this drop that you see here, this 20% plus drop, remains flat, right? It hasn't really moved much. Now, if this volume starts dropping like this, then I might hesitate to re-enter here. And this might, you know, it might bounce off of this level a few times and then breach it again. And then we'll look to, you know, either the next Fibonacci level or the next moving average, etc. So the confluence of these indicators allowed me to make a confident re-entry into BNB at this level. And it is now up 26%. And what do I do at this point? Well, you guessed it, trailing stop. It is now 26%. I want to protect these profits, so you can initiate a minus 5% trailing stop. And if BNB continues to climb, that minus 5% will climb with it. And then, you know, the more you're up, you could set it wider. If BNB starts falling, right, then you exit for profit. Now, I don't want to give you the sense that this is necessary. You can, for sure, you can enter trades long term, whether it's in the stock market or the cryptocurrency market. So if you entered BNB in November and you didn't do anything here, you didn't panic sell, you didn't sell for profit, all you did was hold, then, you know, you'd be in a good place. But we made an additional 26% by utilizing our trading knowledge and instituting sound trading practices. Anyway, that is it for this video. Again, if you want access to the trade alerts where you will get trades like this 26% on BNB or this 10%, this quick 10, oh, actually it's more, this quick 12% almost that we made on BAT, practically the only two coins in the top 50 along with Raven coin that are up. Link is in the description. Sign up. Again, Diamond Traders and above, you get the stock trade alerts as well as the 0.03 Bitcoin drawing on the first of every month. If you got anything out of this video, leave it a healthy and nice looking thumbs up. If you have a question or comment, leave it in the comment section below. Stay safe out there. Peace. Subscribe. Peace.